The banner reads, "Happy Retirement, Wes." 43 co-workers applaud as I enter the conference hall at the Riverside Convention Center. My wife, Reina, orchestrated everything: catering, decorations, the slideshow of our 25 years together. She doesn't know I orchestrated something too. "Surprise!" the chorus echoes off the vaulted ceiling. Balloons in company colors, navy and gold, bob from every table. The smell of prime rib and garlic mashed potatoes fills the air. Someone hired a photographer. The whole production probably cost $3,000. Money well spent, considering what I'm about to get in return. Reina glides toward me in her navy dress, the one that makes her look 10 years younger. At 52, she still turns heads. Her auburn hair catches the overhead lights as she wraps her arms around my neck. "Are you surprised, honey?" Her smile could power the building. "I wanted to make this special for you." "Oh, it's gonna be special," I tell her, kissing her cheek. "More special than you can imagine." She leads me through the crowd, handshakes and backslaps from colleagues who've watched me build Midwest Insurance Partners from a 2-person operation into a regional powerhouse. 30 years of 18-hour days, weekend client calls, and missed family dinners, all to create something worth stealing. "Wes, congratulations." That's Janet from accounting, already 3 drinks into the evening. "You must be so excited to finally relax." "Relaxation is overrated," I reply. "I prefer clarity." 3 tables away, Marcus Torven sits beside his wife Isla, both believing themselves guests at a colleague's celebration. Marcus manages our accounts receivable department. He's been managing my wife for 6 years. I confirmed the timeline through hotel receipts paid from a joint account Reina thought I never checked. Marcus raises his wine glass in my direction. "To the legend himself," I wave back. "Thanks, Marcus, we'll talk soon." His smile falters slightly. Good, let him wonder. The conference hall buzzes with conversation. Reina's book club friends cluster near the bar, already gossiping about someone's divorce. My golf buddies from the country club hold court by the dessert table. Everyone who matters in our little corner of suburban Indianapolis is here tonight, witnesses to what comes next. "Ladies and gentlemen," Reina taps her wine glass with a fork. "If I could have your attention, please." The room quiets. She stands at the head table, radiant in the spotlight. For a moment, I almost remember why I fell in love with her. Then I remember the receipts hidden in my desk drawer, the second phone bill, the client list she copied to a flash drive last month. 25 years ago, I married the most dedicated man I've ever known, Reina begins. Wes Farrow doesn't just sell insurance. He protects families. He builds relationships. He creates security for people who trust him with their futures. Applause ripples through the room. I nod graciously, playing my part. "But tonight isn't just about his professional achievements," she continues. "It's about partnership, about devotion, about 2 people who've built something beautiful together." More applause. I catch Marcus shifting in his seat, avoiding eye contact. His wife Isla looks genuinely moved by the speech. Poor woman has no idea her husband has been building something beautiful with my wife for the past 6 years. Wes always says that trust is the foundation of any relationship. Reina's voice wavers with emotion. Trust in business, trust in marriage, trust in the promises we make to each other. The irony is so thick I could choke on it, but I smile and nod, letting her dig her own grave with every word. So please, everyone, raise your glasses to my husband, to his retirement, to his achievements, and to the next chapter of our lives together. Cheers! The room erupts in applause and clinking glasses. Reina beams at me, expecting gratitude. Instead, I stand and walk to the microphone. Time for my speech. "Thank you all for coming tonight," I begin, my voice carrying clearly through the sound system. Reina's right about trust being the foundation of relationships. It's also the most fragile thing in the world. Once broken, it can never be truly repaired. The room settles into attentive silence. Reina's smile becomes fixed, uncertain. I've spent 30 years building trust with clients, colleagues, and friends. I've honored every contract, kept every promise, and protected every confidence placed in me. That's why Midwest Insurance Partners grew from nothing to a $4 million annual operation. Nods and murmurs of agreement. These people know my reputation. But tonight, I want to talk about a different kind of trust. The trust between husband and wife. The promise to honor and cherish, in sickness and health, for richer or poorer. Reina's face has gone pale. She knows something's wrong but can't figure out what. For 25 years, I believed in that trust completely. I never questioned late nights at the office, weekend conferences, or mysterious charges on our credit card. I trusted my wife the way my clients trust me, absolutely and without reservation. The room is quiet now. You could hear a pin drop on the carpeted floor. So I want to thank Reina publicly, in front of everyone who matters to us, for 25 years of lies. Gasps echo through the hall. Reina's wine glass slips from her hand, shattering on the floor. Red wine spreads across the white tablecloth like spilled secrets. I want to thank her for the affair she's been having with Marcus Torven, who's sitting right there at table 7 with his wife. Every head in the room turns toward Marcus. He's frozen like a deer in headlights, his face the color of old newspaper. His wife Isla stares at him in shock, her mouth hanging open. I want to thank her for copying my client database and transferring key accounts to Marcus's brother's competing agency. For the offshore account she helped establish to launder money from our joint savings, for listing our house for sale through a pocket listing without telling me. The room erupts in chaos. Voices rise in shock and outrage. Someone's chair scrapes against the floor. The photographer keeps snapping pictures, probably thinking this is the story of his career. But I'm not finished. Most of all, I want to thank Reina for organizing this beautiful retirement party, because it gave me the perfect venue to announce that I've filed for divorce. The chaos intensifies. Reina stumbles backward, her face a mask of horror. Marcus bolts for the exit, but his wife grabs his arm, screaming questions I can't make out over the noise. I tap the microphone again. Oh, and one more thing. The slideshow is about to continue. Reina put together some wonderful memories from our marriage. I added a few recent ones she might have forgotten. The large screen behind me flickers to life. Instead of our wedding photos or family vacations, images of Reina and Marcus appear, embracing on a hotel balcony, walking hand in hand on a beach, kissing in the parking lot of the Marriott downtown. Then come the receipts, hotel bills charged to our joint account, restaurant tabs for 2 when I was supposedly eating alone, credit card statements showing purchases at Victoria's Secret, lingerie I never saw her wear. Finally, the phone records, a second cell phone account under Reina's maiden name, showing thousands of calls and texts to Marcus's number over the past 6 years. The room has descended into complete pandemonium. People are shouting, phones are recording, and someone's calling for security. Reina has collapsed into her chair, sobbing hysterically. Marcus made it to the exit but stopped when he realized his wife wasn't following. I walk calmly to the dessert table and cut myself a generous slice of chocolate cake. The frosting is perfect, rich and smooth, with just the right amount of sweetness. Ladies and gentlemen, I announce into the microphone one final time. Thank you for sharing this special evening with me. The bar remains open for another hour. Please, enjoy yourselves. I take a bite of cake, savoring every layer. It tastes like victory. The parking lot looks like a crime scene. Groups of people huddle around cars, voices carrying across the asphalt in the cool October air. Some are comforting Reina, who's leaning against her silver BMW, mascara streaking down her cheeks. Others surround Marcus and his wife near their black SUV, where Isla's voice rises above the rest. 6 years? She screams. 6 years, you lying piece of trash? I walk past them toward my truck, still carrying my plate of cake. The photographer follows, snapping pictures like he's documenting a natural disaster. In a way, he is. Mr. Farrow, Janet from accounting catches up to me, slightly out of breath. Is this really happening? I mean, are you serious about the divorce? Serious, I tell her, taking another bite of cake. The papers were filed this morning. Reina should receive her copy by Monday. But the house, your business. What about everything you built together? That's what prenups are for, Janet. Reina insisted on one before we married, said it was romantic, protecting what each of us brought to the relationship. She never bothered to read the infidelity clauses. Janet's eyes widen. You mean she gets nothing? Nothing but her clothes and whatever dignity she has left, which, judging by tonight's performance, isn't much. Behind us, Reina breaks away from her support group and stumbles toward me. Her navy dress is wrinkled, her hair disheveled. The woman who looked radiant an hour ago now resembles something dragged behind a truck. Wes, please, she gasps, grabbing my arm. We need to talk. This is all a misunderstanding. I can explain everything. I look down at her hand on my sleeve, then back at her tear-stained face. Explain what, exactly? The hotel receipts, the phone records, the client list you copied to a flash drive last month? Her grip tightens. How did you… those things aren't what they look like. Really? Because they look like evidence of adultery, theft, and fraud. What do they look like to you? Wes, I love you. I've always loved you. This thing with Marcus, it was a mistake, a moment of weakness that got out of hand. 6 years is a long moment, Reina. People are watching us now, phones held high to record the confrontation. Reina notices and lowers her voice to a desperate whisper. Please, not here. Not in front of everyone. Let's go home and talk about this privately. Home? I laugh, finishing the last bite of cake. You mean the house you listed for sale 3 months ago? The one with a buyer already arranged? That home? Her face goes white. You found the listing. I found a lot of things. Amazing what you discover when you start looking. Marcus appears beside us, having apparently escaped from his wife's interrogation. His usually perfect hair is messed up, his tie crooked. There's a red handprint on his left cheek. Wes, listen, he starts, but I hold up my hand. Marcus, I'm going to stop you right there. Whatever you're about to say, apology, explanation, justification, save it for your lawyer. You're going to need all your energy for what's coming. What's that supposed to mean? I smile. It means I'm not just divorcing my wife. I'm destroying your life too. His face hardens. You can't prove anything. Those photos could be doctored. The receipts could be forged. Could be, I agree. But they're not. And I have more evidence than what you saw tonight. Bank records, email printouts, witness statements. Your brother's competing agency is about to lose its license for receiving stolen client information. The offshore account Reina helped you establish is being investigated by the IRS. Your employer, my company, will fire you Monday morning for breach of fiduciary duty. Marcus takes a step back. You're bluffing. Am I? Ask yourself this. If I was bluffing, would I have humiliated both of you in front of 43 witnesses? Would I have hired a photographer to document everything? Would I have filed divorce papers this morning without giving Reina any warning? The color drains from his face. He's finally understanding the scope of what I've planned. This is insane, he whispers. We're talking about careers, reputations, families. You can't just destroy people's lives over a personal dispute. Watch me. Isla Torven approaches our group, her face a mask of controlled fury. She's a small woman, maybe 5'4", but she radiates the kind of anger that makes people step aside. Marcus, she says quietly, get in the car. Isla, honey, let me explain. Get in the car now, or I'm leaving without you. He looks between his wife and Reina, clearly torn between his loyalties. Finally, he follows Isla toward their SUV. This isn't over, he calls back to me. You're right, I reply. It's just getting started. Reina watches them drive away, then turns back to me with renewed desperation. Wes, please, I know I made mistakes, but we can fix this. We can go to counseling, work through our problems. 25 years of marriage has to count for something. It does count, I tell her. It counts as 25 years of evidence that you're incapable of honesty. 25 years of proof that you see marriage as a business transaction rather than a commitment. That's not fair. I've been a good wife. I've supported your career, maintained our home, hosted your business dinners, while stealing my client list and planning to leave me for another man. She opens her mouth to protest, then closes it. We both know there's no defense for what she's done. What happens now? She asks quietly. Now you find somewhere else to sleep tonight. I've changed the locks on the house. You can't do that. It's my house too. Actually, I can. The house is in my name only. You never wanted the responsibility of ownership, remember? Said it was too much paperwork. Her face crumbles as the reality hits her. No house, no husband, no lover who's willing to leave his wife. She's losing everything in one night. Where am I supposed to go? That's not my problem anymore. You're a resourceful woman, Reina. You managed to conduct a 6-year affair while maintaining the facade of a perfect marriage. I'm sure you'll figure something out. I walk to my truck and climb into the driver's seat. Through the windshield, I watch Reina standing alone in the parking lot, her retirement party dream transformed into a nightmare. My phone buzzes with a text message. It's from my daughter Emily, away at college in Chicago. Dad, someone posted a video of your party on social media. Are you okay? Call me. I start the engine and pull out of the parking lot, leaving Reina to face the wreckage of her choices. The cake was excellent. Everything else was even better. Tomorrow, the real work begins. The law office of Stuart Klein occupies the top floor of a downtown Indianapolis high-rise. Floor-to-ceiling windows offer a panoramic view of the city, but I'm more interested in the documents spread across the mahogany conference table. Your wife's attorney is requesting an emergency hearing, Stuart says, adjusting his wire-rimmed glasses. She claims you've frozen her access to marital assets and changed locks without proper notice. I sip my coffee and review the motion. What's the timeline? Judge Morrison can see us Thursday morning. That gives us 3 days to prepare our response. Perfect. That's exactly how long I need. Stuart frowns. He's been my attorney for 15 years, handling business contracts and the occasional legal dispute. This is his first divorce case involving industrial-scale deception. Wes, I have to advise caution here. The judge won't appreciate theatrical gestures. What you did at the retirement party was dramatic, but it might hurt us in court. Let me worry about the judge. You just focus on the evidence. I slide a thick folder across the table. Bank records going back 8 years, every suspicious transaction, every unexplained withdrawal, every hotel charge paid from our joint account while I was supposedly traveling alone. Stuart opens the folder and whistles softly. This is incredibly detailed. I'm an insurance investigator by trade. Documentation is what I do. Some of this information seems difficult to obtain legally. Everything in that folder came from accounts I have legal access to, records I'm entitled to review, or public information available through proper channels. That's technically true. I don't mention that my friend Danny works for the credit card company and owed me a favor from when I helped him through his own divorce 2 years ago. Or that Reina used the same password for everything. Our wedding anniversary, which she apparently forgot, was also the date she started betraying me. What about this offshore account? Stuart asks, pointing to a bank statement from the Cayman Islands. Reina opened it using our joint tax returns as proof of income. She listed me as a beneficiary, probably planning to claim it was a surprise retirement fund if I ever discovered it. Unfortunately for her, beneficiaries receive account statements. There's $180,000 here. Money she's been skimming from our savings for 6 years, a few thousand here, a few thousand there. She thought I wouldn't notice. Stuart makes notes on his legal pad. This changes everything. We're not just talking about adultery anymore. This is financial fraud. It gets better. Show me the client list analysis. He flips to another section of the folder. According to this, your wife copied confidential client information and provided it to a competing agency. Marcus Torven's brother owns Hoosier State Insurance. They've been underbidding my quotes for months, somehow knowing exactly what rates to offer. I couldn't figure out how they were getting inside information until I installed monitoring software on our home computer. You monitored your wife's computer activity? I monitored my computer activity, the one registered in my name, connected to my internet service, sitting in my home office. Perfectly legal. Stuart nods, making more notes. What did you find? Email correspondence between Reina and Marcus, discussing specific clients. Screenshots of my customer database. Draft proposals for accounts she had no legitimate reason to access. This is corporate espionage. It's theft of trade secrets, breach of fiduciary duty, and conspiracy to defraud. Marcus will lose his insurance license. His brother's company will face regulatory sanctions. Reina will be lucky if she doesn't face criminal charges. My phone rings. The caller ID shows Emily's number. Excuse me, I tell Stuart, stepping into the hallway. Hi, sweetheart. Dad, what the hell is going on? Emily's voice is tight with stress. I've seen the videos from your party. People are calling it the retirement party massacre on social media. That's a bit dramatic, don't you think? Dad, this isn't funny. Mom called me crying at 3 a.m. She says you've lost your mind, that you're destroying the family over a misunderstanding. I lean against the window, looking down at the traffic 20 floors below. What exactly did she tell you? That you publicly humiliated her based on circumstantial evidence, that you filed for divorce without even trying to work things out, that you're being cruel and vindictive. Did she mention the affair? Silence on the other end of the line. Emily? She said it was complicated, that you wouldn't understand the pressure she's been under, how lonely she's felt with you working all the time. So she admitted it? She said you've grown apart, that Marcus was just someone who listened to her problems. For 6 years, in hotel rooms, with money stolen from our savings account. Another long silence. Is that really what happened? Emily asks quietly. That's exactly what happened. Plus, she copied my client list to help Marcus's brother steal business from my company. Plus, she listed our house for sale without telling me. Plus, she opened an offshore bank account using our joint tax returns. Oh God. Emily's voice breaks. Dad, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Of course you didn't. Your mother is very good at managing her image. What happens now? Now your mother faces the consequences of her choices. The divorce will be finalized in about 4 months. She'll get nothing under the prenup except her personal belongings. What about you? I'll be fine. Better than fine, actually. I'm thinking about buying a cabin in Vermont, maybe taking up woodworking. You hate woodworking. I hate a lot of things I used to tolerate. That's going to change. After I hang up, Stuart approaches with a concerned expression. We have a problem, he says. I just got a call from Reina's attorney. They're claiming you obtained financial records through illegal means. They want to file a motion to exclude evidence. On what grounds? Computer hacking, invasion of privacy, possibly wiretapping if you recorded any phone conversations. I smile. Let them try. Every piece of evidence in that folder was obtained legally, but since they brought up recordings, I pull out my phone and play the audio from Saturday night. Reina's voice fills the hallway. Wes, I love you. I've always loved you. This thing with Marcus, it was a mistake, a moment of weakness that got out of hand. When did you record this? In the parking lot after the party. She was confessing to try to salvage something. I recorded it on my phone, which is perfectly legal in Indiana, as long as one party to the conversation consents. You consented to recording your own conversation? Exactly. And she admits to the affair on tape. Her own words, her own voice, recorded in a public parking lot with witnesses present. Stuart grins for the first time since I walked into his office. This case just got a lot easier. It's about to get even easier. Tomorrow morning, Marcus gets fired. Tomorrow afternoon, his brother's company gets investigated by the State Insurance Commission. By Thursday's hearing, Reina will be facing a countersuit for fraud and theft. You've really thought this through. I've had 6 years to think about it. I just didn't know I was thinking about it until last month. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. This is Isla Torven. We need to talk. I show the message to Stuart. Looks like Marcus's wife wants to join the party. That could be good or bad for us. With what I know about Marcus, it's going to be very good for us. I text back, coffee tomorrow at 10 a.m., Starbucks on Meridian Street. Her response comes immediately. I'll be there, and I'm bringing evidence. Stuart raises an eyebrow. Evidence? Apparently, I'm not the only one who's been paying attention. Isla Torven sits in the corner booth at Starbucks, a manila envelope on the table beside her untouched latte. She's dressed in a black business suit that makes her look like she's attending a funeral. In a way, she is. Thank you for meeting me, she says as I sit down across from her. Thank you for reaching out. I wasn't sure you'd want to talk to me after Saturday night. Saturday night was the best thing that ever happened to me. You gave me permission to stop pretending my marriage was worth saving. She opens the envelope and slides a stack of photographs across the table. I hired a private investigator 3 months ago. I suspected Marcus was having an affair, but I didn't know who or for how long. The photos are professionally shot with telephoto lenses. Marcus and Reina entering hotels, sharing intimate dinners, walking hand in hand through downtown Indianapolis. The timestamps go back 2 years. Why didn't you confront him earlier? I needed proof. Marcus is a lawyer by training, even though he works in insurance now. He would have denied everything, claimed the photos were taken out of context. I needed enough evidence to destroy him in divorce court. Sounds familiar. We're more alike than you might think, Wes. We both married people who see relationships as transactions rather than commitments. I flip through the photos, noting locations and dates. This is incredibly thorough. There's more. She slides another folder across the table. Bank records, credit card statements, phone logs. Marcus has been sloppy about covering his tracks. What am I looking at here? Charges for jewelry I never received. Restaurant bills for expensive dinners when he claimed to be working late. Hotel rooms paid for with our joint credit card. He was using your money to finance the affair? Our money, just like your wife was using yours. Isla's voice carries a bitter edge. But here's the interesting part. Look at the dates on those hotel charges. I examine the statements more carefully. These don't match the dates in the photos. Exactly. Marcus was seeing someone else before your wife, possibly multiple someone else's. The implications hit me immediately. Reina wasn't his first affair. She wasn't even his second. I found evidence of at least 3 other relationships over the past 8 years. Does she know? I doubt it. Marcus is very good at compartmentalizing his lies. Each woman probably thinks she's the only one. I lean back in my chair, processing this information. Why are you telling me this? Because I want to destroy him completely, not just divorce him, ruin him, take his career, his reputation, his financial security, everything. That's exactly what I'm doing to Reina. I know. That's why I think we should work together. She pulls out a third folder, thicker than the others. This is what I really wanted to show you. Marcus has been embezzling money from your company for years. What? Small amounts, nothing that would trigger an audit. But it adds up. He's stolen over $60,000 from client accounts, covering it up by manipulating the books. I grab the folder and start reading. Account numbers, transaction records, forged signatures. It's all here, documented in meticulous detail. How did you get this? Marcus works from home 2 days a week. He leaves his laptop open, his files unsecured. I've been photographing everything for months. This is corporate fraud. He could go to prison. That's the idea. My phone rings. Stuart's number appears on the screen. I need to take this, I tell Isla. Wes, we have a problem, Stuart says without preamble. Reina's attorney just filed a motion claiming you're harassing their client. How am I harassing her? Apparently, someone's been calling her employers, her friends, her book club members, sharing details about the affair, the financial fraud, the divorce proceedings. I look at Isla, who's listening to my side of the conversation with interest. I haven't called anyone, I tell Stuart. The calls are coming from a blocked number, but they're providing information only you would have access to. Stuart, I'm sitting in Starbucks having coffee. I haven't made any phone calls. Well, someone has. Reina's been effectively blacklisted from her social circle. Her book club asked her not to come back. Her tennis partners won't return her calls. Someone even contacted her employer and provided evidence of the client list theft. I end the call and look at Isla. Have you been making phone calls about Reina? A few, she admits. I thought you'd appreciate the help. I appreciate the sentiment, but you need to stop. It's giving her attorney ammunition to claim harassment. Fine, but I'm not stopping the rest of it. What rest of it? She smiles for the first time since I sat down. Marcus doesn't know I've discovered his embezzlement. He thinks I'm just angry about the affair, so I'm going to let him dig his hole deeper. How? Tonight, he's going to steal another $5,000 from a client account to pay for a hotel room where he plans to meet your wife. They think they're being discreet, but I know about the reservation. You're setting them up. I'm documenting their continued criminal behavior. There's a difference. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Stop spreading lies about me or you'll regret it. Reina. I show the message to Isla. She's getting desperate. Good. Desperate people make mistakes. What kind of mistakes? The kind that end up on security cameras. The kind that witnesses remember. The kind that prosecutors love. I finish my coffee and gather the folders. What do you want in return for this information? I want Marcus to lose everything. His job, his marriage, his freedom. I want him to understand what it feels like to be betrayed by someone you trusted completely. That's exactly what I want for Reina. Then we're partners. We shake hands across the table. It feels like signing a contract with the devil, but sometimes the devil has the best lawyers. One more thing, Isla says as we prepare to leave. Your wife doesn't know about Marcus's other affairs. When she finds out, and she will find out, she's going to realize she was just another mark in his long con. That should be interesting. It should be devastating, for both of them. I walk back to my truck with 3 folders full of evidence and a new ally in my war against deception. Tomorrow, Marcus loses his job. By the end of the week, he might lose his freedom. Reina's about to discover that her lover isn't the man she thought he was. And I'm about to discover just how far I'm willing to go for revenge. The answer might surprise both of us. Marcus arrives at work Monday morning like it's any other day. He parks his BMW in the same spot, walks through the lobby with the same confident stride, greets the receptionist with the same charming smile. He has no idea that his employment ended at 8:47 a.m., 17 minutes before he stepped through the door. I watch from my office window as building security approaches him at the elevator. The conversation is brief and professional. Marcus's face goes through several stages of confusion before settling on panic. Security escorts him back to the lobby, where a box containing his personal belongings waits at the front desk. My intercom buzzes. Mr. Farrow, Mr. Peterson would like to see you in his office. James Peterson founded Midwest Insurance Partners 40 years ago. At 72, he's supposedly retired, but he still comes in 3 days a week to keep an eye on operations. More importantly, he still owns 60% of the company. Wes, come in. Peterson gestures to the leather chair across from his massive oak desk. Hell of a weekend you had. That's one way to put it. I've been reviewing the evidence you provided about Marcus Torven. Theft of client information, conspiracy with a competing agency, embezzlement from customer accounts. He shakes his head. $63,000 over 4 years. How did we miss this? He was careful. Small amounts, spread across multiple accounts, covered up with false entries. It would take a forensic audit to catch everything. Which is exactly what we're doing. The State Insurance Commission is sending investigators this afternoon. What about Marcus's brother's company? Hoosier State Insurance is being investigated for receiving stolen trade secrets. They'll probably lose their license, and any policies they wrote using our client information will be voided. Peterson opens a folder on his desk. There's something else. Marcus tried to access our computer system this morning before security removed him. He was attempting to delete files from the accounts receivable database. Did he succeed? No, but the attempt was logged by IT. Destruction of evidence, obstruction of justice. The prosecutor's office is very interested. My phone rings. The caller ID shows Reina's number. Excuse me, I tell Peterson. Wes, what did you do? Reina's voice is shrill with panic. Marcus just called me from the parking lot. He says he's been fired, that you're trying to have him arrested. I'm not trying to have him arrested. I'm succeeding in having him arrested. This is insane. You're destroying people's lives over a personal dispute. I'm exposing criminals who happen to be people I know personally. Marcus isn't a criminal. He made some mistakes, but he stole $63,000 from client accounts. He conspired with his brother to steal trade secrets. He attempted to destroy evidence this morning. Those aren't mistakes, Reina. Those are felonies. Silence on the other end of the line. Reina? I don't believe you. Marcus wouldn't steal money. The State Insurance Commission disagrees. So does the prosecutor's office. You planted that evidence. You're framing him because you're angry about our relationship. Ask him about the hotel room he reserved for tonight, the one he paid for with stolen money, the one where he planned to meet you while his wife pretends not to know. Another long silence. How do you know about the hotel? I know everything, Reina. About the other women, the embezzlement, the lies he's told you about leaving his wife. Marcus isn't the man you think he is. What other women? Ask him yourself. But you might want to hurry. The police are probably looking for him by now. I hang up and turn back to Peterson. Sorry about that. Where were we? I was about to offer you Marcus's job, Senior Vice President of Operations, with a 20% salary increase and equity participation. I thought I was retired. You were retired from fieldwork, but this company needs someone with your investigative skills in management, someone who can spot problems before they become disasters. It's a generous offer, but I have other plans. I appreciate the confidence, James, but I really am ready to step back. Maybe do some consulting work, travel a bit. The offer stands if you change your mind. My phone buzzes with a text from Isla. It's happening. Marcus just showed up at my house demanding money for a lawyer. I recorded everything. I excuse myself and call her back. He's completely panicked, she says, claiming you've framed him, that the evidence is fabricated. He wants me to mortgage our house to pay for his legal defense. What did you tell him? I told him I filed for divorce this morning, and that I've provided evidence of his embezzlement to the prosecutor's office. How did he react? He threw a lamp at the wall and stormed out, but not before admitting that he's been stealing money to pay for hotel rooms and gifts for multiple girlfriends. Multiple? 3 that he named. Your wife was just the latest. Did you record that part? Every word, along with his confession about copying your client list and his plan to leave town before the police find him. He's planning to run? He's already running. He packed a suitcase and left in his car 20 minutes ago. I immediately call Stuart and relay the information. Within an hour, there's a BOLO alert out for Marcus's BMW. By evening, he's arrested at a gas station outside Louisville, trying to pay for fuel with a credit card that's been frozen by court order. The local news picks up the story Tuesday morning. Insurance executive arrested in embezzlement scheme. The reporter mentions the retirement party confrontation, the divorce proceedings, and the ongoing investigation into corporate fraud. Reina calls me after the story airs. "Are you happy now?" she asks. "You've destroyed everything we built together." "I didn't destroy anything, Reina. I exposed what you destroyed. Marcus is in jail because of you. Marcus is in jail because he's a thief and a fraud, just like you. I never stole any money. You stole my client's information and gave it to a competing agency. You opened a secret bank account using our joint tax returns. You listed our house for sale without my knowledge or consent. Those things aren't the same as what Marcus did. You're right. What you did was worse. Marcus stole money from strangers. You stole 25 years of my life. I loved you, Wes. I still love you." "No, you don't. You love what I represented. Security, status, respectability. You love the lifestyle I provided and the reputation I built. But you never loved me. That's not true. If it's not true, then explain the affair. Explain the lies. Explain why you were planning to leave me for a man who was using you the same way you were using me." She starts crying. "I made mistakes. I know I made mistakes, but we can fix this. We can start over. There's no starting over from what you've done. There's only consequences." I hang up and pour myself a glass of whiskey. It's barely noon, but I figure I've earned it. The house feels different now, quieter, cleaner, more honest. I've removed all the photos of Reina and me, boxed up her remaining belongings, and changed the sheets on our bed. Tomorrow, I'm having the locks changed again, just to be sure. My phone rings. Emily's number. "Hi, sweetheart. Dad, I saw the news about Marcus. Is Mom okay?" "Your mother is learning that actions have consequences. It's a difficult lesson, but an important one. She called me this morning, crying. She says she's staying at Grandma's house, that you've frozen all her accounts. I've secured our joint accounts pending the divorce settlement. She has access to her personal checking account and credit card. What's going to happen to her? That depends on the choices she makes going forward. She can cooperate with the divorce proceedings and walk away with her dignity intact, or she can fight and risk criminal charges for the client list theft." "Criminal charges?" "Corporate espionage is a felony, Emily. So is conspiracy to defraud. Your mother could face prison time if the prosecutor decides to press charges." "Oh, God. Dad, you have to help her." "I can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. Your mother had 25 years to be honest with me. She chose deception instead. But she's still my mother. And she always will be. But she's not my wife anymore. That relationship ended the moment she decided to betray everything we built together." After we hang up, I sit in my home office, looking at the empty space where Reina's computer used to be. The police took it as evidence, along with her files, her phone records, and the flash drive containing my client database. Tomorrow is the divorce hearing. By Thursday, the criminal investigation will be complete. By next week, Reina will have to decide whether to plead guilty or go to trial. I open my laptop and start researching cabins for sale in Vermont. It's time to start planning my real retirement. The one where I don't have to worry about being betrayed by someone I trust. The courtroom smells like old wood and broken promises. Judge Morrison has been handling family law cases for 23 years, and her expression suggests she's seen every variation of human betrayal imaginable. Today, she's about to see one more. Reina sits at the plaintiff's table with her attorney, a sharp-dressed woman named Catherine Walsh, who specializes in high-asset divorces. Reina looks smaller than usual in her conservative gray suit, like she's trying to disappear into the furniture. "Your Honor," Walsh begins, "my client is seeking an equitable distribution of marital assets accumulated over 25 years of marriage. Mr. Farrow's recent actions, publicly humiliating Mrs. Farrow, freezing joint accounts, and filing criminal complaints, represent a vindictive attempt to circumvent Indiana's fair divorce laws." Judge Morrison reviews the file in front of her. "Mr. Klein, How does your client respond? Stewart stands, straightening his tie. Your Honor, Mrs. Farrow signed a comprehensive prenuptial agreement that specifically addresses the division of assets in cases of marital infidelity. The evidence clearly demonstrates a pattern of adultery, fraud, and theft spanning 6 years. I've reviewed the prenup, the judge says. It's unusually detailed. Mrs. Walsh, did your client have independent legal counsel when she signed this document? Walsh whispers something to Reina, who nods reluctantly. Yes, Your Honor. Mrs. Farrow was represented by separate counsel and had 2 weeks to review the terms. And she signed it voluntarily? She did, but she claims she didn't fully understand the implications of the infidelity clauses. Judge Morrison raises an eyebrow. The clauses are written in plain English, Counselor. In the event of proven adultery by either party, the offending spouse forfeits all claims to marital property, business assets, and spousal support. How much clearer could it be? Your Honor, my client admits to an inappropriate relationship, but she disputes the characterization of her actions as theft or fraud. Stewart opens his briefcase and removes a thick folder. Your Honor, we have extensive documentation of Mrs. Farrow's criminal activities, bank records showing unauthorized transfers to an offshore account, computer logs proving she copied confidential client information, and recorded confessions admitting to both the affair and the financial fraud. I'd like to hear that recording. Stewart sets up a small speaker on our table and presses play. Reina's voice fills the courtroom. This thing with Marcus, it was a mistake. A moment of weakness that got out of hand. I know I made mistakes. I can explain everything. Those things aren't what they look like. Judge Morrison listens to the entire recording without expression. When it ends, she turns to Walsh. Counselor, your client clearly admits to the affair in this recording. She also acknowledges taking actions that aren't what they look like, which suggests awareness of wrongdoing. Your Honor, that conversation took place in a parking lot immediately after my client was publicly humiliated. She was in emotional distress and not thinking clearly. The recording is from Saturday night. When was it made? Stewart checks his notes. Approximately 11:30 p.m., Your Honor, 3 hours after the retirement party incident. So Mrs. Farrow had time to compose herself and consider her words carefully. Yes, Your Honor. Judge Morrison makes notes on her legal pad. What about the financial fraud allegations? Stewart presents another folder. Bank records showing $180,000 transferred to an offshore account over 6 years. Mrs. Farrow used joint tax returns to establish the account, listing her husband as a beneficiary without his knowledge or consent. Mrs. Walsh, how does your client explain this? Walsh confers with Reina again. She claims it was intended as a surprise retirement fund for her husband. A surprise retirement fund that he wasn't supposed to know about? She planned to reveal it at an appropriate time. When? After she divorced him and moved to the Cayman Islands? The sarcasm in Judge Morrison's voice is unmistakable. Walsh's face reddens. Your Honor, we request a brief recess to consult with our client. Denied. We're going to finish this today. Mr. Klein, what is your client seeking? Stewart stands again. Complete dissolution of the marriage with no alimony, no property division, and no shared custody of assets. Mr. Farrow is also requesting attorney's fees and court costs. What about the house? The house is titled solely in Mr. Farrow's name. Mrs. Farrow has no legal claim to it. Judge Morrison turns to Walsh. Is that correct? Yes, Your Honor, but my client contributed to mortgage payments and home improvements over 25 years. Did she contribute financially, or did she manage the household while Mr. Farrow earned the income that paid the mortgage? Walsh hesitates. She managed the household. So she provided services in exchange for housing, food, and lifestyle support. That's not the same as building equity. Your Honor, my client gave up career opportunities to support her husband's business. What career opportunities? Another whispered consultation. She had a degree in marketing. And what was she doing with that degree when she married Mr. Farrow? She was between jobs. For how long? Approximately 2 years. Judge Morrison looks at Reina directly. Mrs. Farrow, stand up. Reina rises unsteadily. You signed a prenup that you now claim to misunderstand. You conducted a 6-year affair with a married man. You stole confidential business information from your husband's company. You opened a secret bank account using forged documents. You listed the marital home for sale without your husband's knowledge. Is there anything in this summary that's inaccurate? Reina's voice is barely audible. No, Your Honor. Do you have anything to say in your own defense? I made mistakes. I was lonely. My husband worked all the time, and I felt neglected. So you decided to betray him financially and emotionally rather than discussing your concerns like an adult. I tried to talk to him, but he was always busy. Mrs. Farrow, your husband built a successful business that provided you with a comfortable lifestyle for 25 years. You repaid him by stealing from that business and planning to leave him for another man. Do you understand why the court might find your claims of loneliness unconvincing? Reina starts crying. I know I made mistakes, but I don't deserve to lose everything. You didn't lose everything, Mrs. Farrow. You threw it away. Judge Morrison turns back to the attorneys. Based on the evidence presented and the terms of the prenuptial agreement, I'm granting Mr. Farrow's petition for dissolution. Mrs. Farrow will receive nothing from the marital estate except her personal belongings and any assets titled solely in her name. Walsh jumps up. Your Honor, we intend to appeal this decision. That's your right, Counselor. But I should warn you that the prosecutor's office has expressed interest in filing criminal charges related to the business fraud. An appeal might draw unwanted attention to your client's legal exposure. The threat hangs in the air like smoke. Walsh sits down without another word. Mr. Farrow, the judge continues, you're awarded attorney's fees in the amount of $47,000. The house, business assets, and retirement accounts remain solely yours. This court finds that Mrs. Farrow's actions constitute a material breach of the marriage contract and a violation of the prenuptial agreement. She bangs her gavel. Case closed. I shake Stewart's hand and gather my papers. Across the aisle, Reina is sobbing into her attorney's shoulder. For a moment, I almost feel sorry for her. Then I remember the hotel receipts, the stolen client list, and the 6 years of lies. Outside the courthouse, reporters are waiting. Someone leaked the story about the retirement party massacre and its legal aftermath. Mr. Farrow, how does it feel to win such a decisive victory? I stop on the courthouse steps and consider the question. It doesn't feel like a victory, it feels like justice. What's next for you? I'm buying a cabin in Vermont. I'm going to learn woodworking and sleep until noon every day. Any regrets about how this played out? Just one. I should have ordered a bigger cake. The reporters laugh, but I'm not joking. The cake really was excellent. I drive home to my empty house, pour myself a whiskey, and sit on the back porch watching the sunset. Tomorrow, I start looking at real estate listings. Next week, I start my new life. The one where I don't have to worry about being betrayed by someone I trust. The one where I finally get to eat my cake and have it too.